So one thing that I feel is good teachers will always engage in inquiring questions with the students. So firstly, I would like to think about not just mathematicians, but in terms of, are we creating good problem solvers for tomorrow? Because whether they become mathematician or not, everybody has to deal with problem solving in their real life. If we take the example of somebody working in the corporate, if they don't upskill themselves, they are out of the job, right? But fortunately or unfortunately, teachers are not kicked out of the job if they are not upskilling themselves. So that should not make one relax, and we should always look for learning more and more things, and thereby, thereby, because students will then look up to us. They'll say that, oh, my teacher is always learning, so I should also be always learning. And I think this is something that is something that we should be bringing to the classroom, and that I think, along with all other traditional methods, can still make a difference. And lattice grid kind of thing. And I used to enjoy looking at the patterns that are formed behind the net. So we see all X's in the front, but what is the pattern that happens behind? I also remember chip tiles which used to be put on the floor, and what is the kind of pattern that we can find in those chip tiles, or bathroom tiling. So I enjoyed all this as a young child. I remember that. But I think my love for real mathematics came from my high school math tutor, P.P. Raman sir. He was a retired headmaster at that time. And I think this is a common story for anybody. You ask anybody how did they like a subject, there would invariably be some math teacher who has played a big role in their life in kindling their love for the subject. So that is when I started enjoying mathematics, and I started doing good in mathematics. So until then I was enjoying math, but I was doing okay when it came to school curriculum and things like that. So that's my bit of introduction at school level. The founder of Epsilon US, Dr. George Thomas, he saw a lot of students from India are coming all the way to US to attend the camps over there. So he said, why don't you start one program in India, and I'll give my full support to do that. So that's how Epsilon India started, under the same philosophy of Epsilon US. It's like sport, right? I mean, at mid summer heat for 5-6 hours, a child may not feel fatigue at all in playing in the ground, a game like cricket or something like that. Why? Because they have enjoyed the game, so the struggle becomes very enjoyable. So it is our responsibility to show students the enjoyable part of mathematics, so that they get used to the struggle and they start enjoying struggle. And anything requires effort, anything requires struggle, just like the sport or music or math. So there is nothing, or cooking, or anything you take, it requires hard work. So anything is hard in some sense or the other, not just mathematics, but we enjoy the process of doing things hard, and that is where the subject becomes more interesting. So just coining math as a hard subject and everything else as easy or not so hard, I think that is not that is not the right way to introduce the subject. One more point, if I may add. Sure. So one is the way we look at mistakes when students commit mistakes. Mm-hmm. Because many a times what happens is the person who says the right answer always gets the applause, and somebody who is not giving the right answer does not give the applause. So this is quite demotivating for the students. And as a teacher, we should also not forget that, or as an individual, not even a teacher, as an individual, we should not forget that any great discovery or any great invention, nothing has happened without mistakes, right? So mistakes will happen. Mistakes only show that the student is willing to take an intellectual risk in doing something, and we should appreciate that particular thing. So the appreciation should be for the effort and not for the final result. Because if we say that, oh, but you made mistakes, these are the silly mistakes that you did. Boss, I mean, silly mistakes we all make. If you make tea every day the tea is not going to taste the same. There will be some mistakes. But does that make me a less able person to make tea or coffee? No. We all make that mistakes. So this idea about silly mistakes and other things, we should not be much worried about. We should be looking at how we encourage students to take that intellectual risk and try different ways to solve the problem, and not demotivate them when they make mistakes. So this is, I think, something very important that we should do in our classroom.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming to my channel. I'm really honored
Thank you.
with your
Thank you
presence.
so much, Gopalji, for your kind words. It's you're just being very humble. It's my privilege to be on this platform, and please keep continuing your great work. The time and effort that you are taking to build videos on your YouTube channel, that only shows for serving more and more students. You are doing this just out of your passion. So we draw
Thank
inspiration from each other. So I respect the work that you do, and I wish all the viewers all the very best, and keep watching the next videos of Gopalji. I've been really inspired and I felt motivated from the previous videos. So I hope you also learn, and together we will
you.
hopefully change the face of mathematics in India.